see the way they hate. And I know better than to listen to the people who are calling us slaves. I can feel the sunlight shining.
Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Brian, and today is Monday, August 19th, 2024, and this is episode 756 of the Lots Project podcast titled Confusing to Be Deaf. I'll be chatting about another weekend at Delinquents, Gully, an interesting statement by a local school, biggest loser, and how much the biggest loser must be confusing if you're deaf, and more. Good morning. How's everybody doing? Let's check over in the live chat, see what's going on over there. I'm kind of messing over here with the vertical feed. It didn't pop up for some reason. We will see if I can get it done on the fly here. Good morning, Pip. I'm not even supposed to be here today. Oh boy. Did we get called in extra, Pip? Or are you just doing this as a it's more work for me if it doesn't happen type of thing? Oh, working on your day off is never a good thing. Let me see if this will go for me now. Oh, they might have caught on. They might have caught on to the fact that I was streaming to the same channel with two different screens to the same channel. I don't know. I'm having an error come up when I'm trying to go live on the vertical feed. So we'll see if that happens anymore. We might just be here on the main feed, which is fine. Pickle Pete, good morning. Pickle Pete is driving to New York City today. From Seattle. You're going to make it in one day. How long a trip is that out to New York City from Seattle, if you don't mind me asking? Good morning, K-Bonk and Hunter over on Twitch. Good morning, Hunter. Thanks for stopping in. Don't see anyone over on Nostr quite yet. And just tinkering around with the old StreamYard to see if it'll fire up. Hey, there it is. I guess it wasn't the fact that I was trying to do this at once. Give me 2 seconds, guys. I just have to resend my message, and I'll be right with you. How was everybody's weekend? Hope everybody had a good one. I hope you got a bunch of stuff done. Hold on 1 second. This was, I usually do this all before the show. And then it just threw me for a loop this morning. All right. There we go. Pickle Pete says that's a 36-hour run. That is a 36-hour run. Pip's wondering if people still go to New York City voluntarily. And good morning, Hanging Laundry. I actually was thinking about you the other day. I heard a clip from TSP and was mentioning you in the clip from the comments. So I said, I know that name for sure. What did everybody get done this weekend? We went out to Delinquents Gully, stayed out for the weekend again. This would be our second weekend in a row. The routine is getting pretty easy to get out there. The more trips we make, the more things that we identify that we can leave out there. We don't have to transport back and forth. We're consolidating things. We're realizing what we need, what we don't need. So it gets easier every time. Good morning, Jamie. Thanks for stopping in. Pickle Pete says, no, you got to pay me to go to New York City. Oh, is this a transport run for a vehicle? I know you did that. I know you transported a vehicle coast to coast a while back. Is this another one of those vehicle runs? Good morning, Backwoods Butcher. Thanks for stopping in. Hello to you also. Hello to you also. So when we go out to Delinquents Gully, good morning, Canadian Farmstead over on the vertical feed. Let's get vertical. Pete's taking a car to Long Island. Nice. I mean, that's not a bad gig. It really isn't a bad gig. You do pretty well. You drive very well. Are you going by yourself or are you team driving at this time? But I know when you delivered last time, you rolled through pretty straight through and took a few hours sleep here and there. You should check out that D-Hive, the D-Hive inflatable mattress. It's made for SUVs and things like that, and it's dual chambered. So if you were gonna sack out in the back of your vehicle, you could unfold it only halfway, or inflated only halfway of the size of the mattress, and it's formed so that it hits it sits behind the wheel wells. So check that out. It's a pretty interesting mattress. So might fit your needs well, or anybody else that likes to car camp or travel in your car, and you want a nice inflatable mattress that fits in there around the wheel hubs. Team run. Oh, nice. Canadian Farmstead says they really want me to start eating breakfast cereal. Are they throwing you the breakfast ads? Backwoods Butcher says, going to make some pork breakfast burritos to get some strength up to give some high-speed leg injections. Hey, Kyle, I saw you got a high-speed ink injection this weekend. Is that real or was that drawn on? Did you really do that to your finger? Wait, if people didn't see Kyle's new tattoo, he's got a new finger tattoo about finger banging. Hanger Laundry says, I've thought about transporting vehicles, but think that's a lot. But think a lot of it is from the coast. Yeah. Pickle P says, did he go tribal? And Backwoods confirms that that's real for life. And Canadian Farmstead had the same kind of thought I did when I saw it. He thought maybe he fell asleep with some Sharpies laying on the table, and the kids were a little wound up. But looks like Backwoods has got a new tattoo on his finger. What did your wife think of that? Oh, at least you don't pull your trigger with your middle finger. No. Oh, anyway, Delinquents Gully. So we're pretty much going out. I think we've planned on going out as many weekends as we can. She just shook her head. I can imagine. Canadian Farmstead said she asked why he got a badminton. A badminton. Badminton birdie. I'm gonna see if I can pull it up real quick here. That's fucking great. Oh no. Kyle, where is your chat? Did you there it is. Did you post it in your Telegram chat, Kyle? I imagine you must have. There it is. Let me see if I can get this pulled up now. Sorry, guys. So we've decided to head out to Delinquents Gully. There's Kyle's new tattoo. badminton birdie and 2 3-letter words. She said Kyle's wife is so supportive of him. She said, "I like that you like it." Good. Brink says we left too early yesterday and missed some mores last night. We're back on. We got to be back on Sundays. We leave early on Sundays to get back in the groove of things back at the camper before we roll into the week. Corey's got to get back at it, and so we take off kind of early on Sunday. We roll out right after work on Friday. Get out of here, have most of our stuff packed up. We're getting to, like I said, we're getting to the point where we know what we need to bring, and a lot of it stays packed. The stuff that goes back and forth is it's in totes. It's water jugs. It's things like that we need while we're out there. And now I lost my. Thanks, Kyle. Canadian Farmstead says it'll make for some entertaining content. I'm guessing you're thinking about Kyle's badminton birdie. Is that from a local shop or did you do it yourself? So it's getting quicker and quicker and quicker for us to go out every time we leave. Pickle Pieces, Kyle's thing is distracting me. Yeah, it's his big old thing is still on my screen over on the other screen here. I gotta close this. Hey Kyle, is there anything on your other finger, on your next finger? So each week it's getting quicker and quicker to get out of here. I still am doing groceries and laundry and all my big Savannah run on Friday. But it's working out to where I get home a little bit before Corey's done with work. I get home a little before Corey gets done with work. I start loading things as much as I can. SMH says over on the vertical feed that he needs to sell a kidney if I need one. I don't think I'm particularly in the need for a kidney at the moment. Thanks though. I appreciate that. Hit the like and the sub. Anyway, so I get back from groceries and laundry, start putting everything away, and then we pretty much can pack up in half hour ish or a little more, and then hit the road. And that's getting quicker and quicker. We're also starting to get a handle around what we need to bring up the hill from the truck in our new cart. And the trips are getting lighter and the quantity is going down, hopefully. Kyle says he thought about doing it on both hands, but decided it was too much. Are you an ambidextrous shooter? Hanging Laundry says the guy gave me the finger twice the other day, but it didn't offend me because I deserved it. The second time he stuck his arm high out the window and waggled it for emphasis. Atta girl. Backwoods Butcher says, "Hey SMH, if you want to come over in the full horizontal feed, the main feed, my buddy Backwoods Butcher here says he'll take the kidney. He doesn't really need it, but he'll take it." So we're also as far as transporting everything up to the cabin in the woods there, we got to use cart. Vehicle access is not all the way to the cabin, so we're transporting everything and we're taking in. But we're kind of building up a stockpile. One thing I'm working on is in the short term is trying to get a trickle of water up to the cabin. That's going to be starting a little bit this week. I got some other projects I got to wrap up. I got to finish insulating and house wrap on the cabin. It's got all the fiberglass insulation in the cavities. Pickle Pete says, "Did I get my cart repaired?" I bought a new cart. I bought an off-road cart. The collapsible cart is still in the back of the truck to see if it can be repaired. Backwoods Butcher says you should build a yoke for the dogs to pull the cart. I don't want them to pull. Like, that's if I teach them to pull when they're on the cart, then they're going to want to pull when they're on me, and when I'm trying to hold them back. So I don't know if I want to do that. I have progress report on the cabin. I got all the insulation in the cavities, so in the roof cavities and in the exterior wall cavities. Got half of it done where we put Tim picked up some white Reflectix, half and half, actually silver and white Reflectix. So half the size, half one of the two sides is silver, like you would see normal Reflectix. If you don't know what Reflectix is, it's kind of that thin bubble wrap insulation, usually silver on both sides. They make it Off-Grid Ping says the new card is fancy. Yeah, it's the Lowe's, the Cobalt Special. Wanted to go with the big ass Gorilla one, but that was a little spendy. I needed to make sure it would get over the bridge because it was so wide. But yeah, that Cobalt cart is pretty fancy. I forgot Corey brought it down to get some boxes there on Saturday. Oh, and you saw it when it was in the back of the truck when I stopped after I'd made it. Yeah, the Reflectix. So Reflectix is a thin insulation. It's like a tin foil. It's not tin foil. It's kind of like tin foil with little bubbles in between. Almost like the bubble wrap you use for shipping, but sandwiched in between two foil layers. We use it in the windows at the camper when we have the air on or the wood stove going. We have cutouts that go in the windows to reflect a little bit better, to reflect the heat out, as well as keep the heat in. So when I was doing the planning for the insulation in the cabin, we weren't real cognizant of stud spacing. We weren't real focused on getting things exactly right. So, when you buy insulation, you buy it for how far apart your studs are. And you take the batting, you put it up in, and it's just about the right size, and the tension holds it up in. And you take the paper and you fold the craft paper out and you staple it to the stud. Well, that works great. That works great when they're all uniform size and everything. This cabin has been kind of pieced together. It was originally an 8x8, and then it was an 8x16, and then all of a sudden it was 16x16, and it's a little wonky. It's not real square. It's not real spaced out. It's been built at 3 different times and things. It's not horrible. It's not going to fall down or anything like that. But when we bought the insulation for this stuff, when you put the insulation up and it just doesn't stay in. Well, it's not bad when it's in the walls. You can kind of stretch the craft paper. You can make it work, and then backfill in any cavities. But in the ceiling, when you're trying to put it in the ceiling and you're trying to hold it up there, and it just won't. It just droops. And as much as you want to put it up there, as much as you staple it up, if you don't put a ceiling, which most people are going to put their ceiling up against it, we're not doing that right away. we're not putting a ceiling up right away. So I was thinking, you know, what could we use as a temporary ceiling? And I thought about the Reflectix. I was like, you know, if we got Reflectix with the white side, temporarily, once you get the batting up, once we get the batting up in the cavities, I could roll out the thin bubble wrap insulation with the white side facing the room and staple it to the studs, and it'll almost be like a temporary white ceiling. So I have that done in half the cabin in the big room. It's interesting. It's interesting doing by yourself. It's interesting doing it in the cabin with all the stuff in it, trying to move everything around in this big room. There isn't a lot of room to get everything out of the room. So when I'm rolling out this big roll, Pickle Pete says 2 millimeter wood paneling makes an easy ceiling and metal with a staple gun. I think eventually that's what we're going to do. This was kind of a temporary to get it insulated, to hold off on till Tim comes down and sees what he actually wants to do in the cabin, and we can discuss it in person. This is kind of like in between trip projects, in between Tim's trips down here. This is Tim's cabin that I'm working on currently. So I pop ideas to him. If they're good, we roll with it. He buys the material and I work on it. If it's stuff that we want to discuss or he's got other ideas, we got different plans. That is how we're rolling with that. So this was kind of a temporary thing until he gets down here. I imagine we'll probably do some sort of paneling or other hardcover on that wall, probably during workday or while he's down here. We'll make that decision. Off-grid Ping says over 2 years and I still haven't insulated any of my ceilings one day. Yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. Pickle Pete asks how the AC working now. It was okay. It took a while for it to. We started it late. It was already hot in the cabin. I think the floor being kind of wonky. It wasn't draining the condensation, so it wasn't blowing as cold as it could. I don't know if we necessarily had the tube set up right. We were doing it on the fly, and it's in a kind of a confined space. So it was hot, sweaty setting it up. But eventually it cooled down in there really well. So I think once we get it set up in its permanent spot and have everything rolling, we were also struggling with, I was struggling with trying to figure out how to do our power bank and the air conditioner at the same time. Because we had some fans running because it was still hot in the cabin. So we needed fans running off the power bank, and AC running off the generator. So it was interesting. It was like a divide and conquer, and I might have gotten an extension cord a little toasty from overdraw on it. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Oh, Jamie's got a wooden. Yeah. So Jamie's got a metal roof and then wooden roof under it, so it's kind of insulated. I mean, the wood's probably as insulated as the thin fiberglass that we put in. So, but the air conditioning work all right. All right. It's for the dogs. Saturday we didn't. Hey Corey, we ran the air on Friday and not Saturday, right? So we ran it Friday after we got out there. It was well into the upper 90s, and the cabin gets a little bit of afternoon sun. So Pickle P says $2. Backwoods Butcher said for as little as $2 a day, you can help find that AC's forever home. For as little as $2 a day, you can sponsor Brian. Pickle P says too long a cord or too small a gauge. Yes. Both. Well, I don't think it was probably length. I don't know. I really, it was the fact that I think that it was the fact that when I tried to daisy chain, I tried to plug the generator. I tried to plug the battery bank into the generator and the AC into the battery bank. The battery bank had enough output to run the air conditioner, but at the same time, it also wanted to run up to its max charging capability too. So, yeah, it all worked out. Everything decided to work in its proper safety capacity and shut down when it was not right. So was able to figure that out in the middle of the night, and then the next day we rolled with it. We probably really should have turned the air on later in the afternoon and the evening with dogs to get some sleep, but by the morning time, it had really cooled down, and they calmed down and everybody got some sleep. So Kyle says, thinking about floating out the idea of trying to do like 10 minutes of stand-up at SRF. Stand-up what? Are you going to do a butcher demonstration? You want to I mean, unless you're going to bring a wheelchair, you're probably going to have to stand up for more than 10 minutes. It's a long weekend, dude. You can't be just sitting around the whole time. Are you recovering from a leg injury I don't know about? I don't know. Anyway, so that was good. We stand-up comedy. Oh, you're gonna do stand-up comedy? I didn't know you were a comedian. Do you have some jokes? Because I don't know if I think you should bring Canadian Farmstead as your partner. He said if you get stuck 5 minutes in, you can always show your tattoo. Why would you think a butcher has a Batman tattoo? Jesus. So we got some work done while we were out at DG this weekend. Delinquents Gully, not Dollar General for anybody tuning in that doesn't know about Delinquents Gully. We got Corey did a great job getting the kitchen set up some more, some functionality stuff. We picked up a Kyle says he's been trying to hit some open mics up here. How's it going? How's it going? I mean, I guess your generation's a different generation than mine. Those young kids. Corey really worked well. Canadian Farmstead says we need a video of that. I was thinking the same, as long as you're talking about the Backwoods doing the open mics. You need somebody to just follow him around and video it and then post it, and we can all make fun of it. That would be the real comedy. So Corey worked on the kitchen, getting it functional, getting things hung up, getting nails put up to hang different things, a grill lighter and pots and pans and things like that. Since we don't have any cupboards, we don't have any drawers, it's basically a shelf and a folding table. Pip says I could see Brian going to John Willis's aquaponics system to grab a few tomatoes and throw at Kyle. Maybe I'll just save the rabbit innards from his demonstration. So Corey did a great job. She got kind of the staples hung up, got everything kind of functioning, got things organized, and then over the past week we had picked up a like a portable sink, a jug. It's like a jerry can. It's a 3-gallon or 12-liter for Canadian Farmstead. Actually, it's only listed in liters on the actual package, and had to look up the gallons. But Corey says it's like 3.2 gallons. It's a square jug. I did a short of it. I'll be also doing a long format video of how we're setting up the kitchen. But basically, we made ourselves a little portable hand washing kitchen sink type setup, which also has some storage for like our clean dishes. So what we did, we took 2 5-gallon command totes, the black and yellow ones from Lowe's. Took 2 of those, set them side by side. The 5-gallon ones are, I don't know, about as wide as my shoulders. They're small. Set them side by side on the table, and then we took the jug, which has a pour spout, kind of like your old water pitchers that you had, Gatorade pitchers, a little pour spout on it. Set that on top with the spout out over the other sink or over an empty tote. So basically you turn the spout on, wash your hands, wash your dishes, and it catches in the other tote. So we got that. Corey started doing dishes, and unfortunately the biggest fry pan we have there wouldn't fit under the spout. So we were looking at it, and man, with like 3 2x4s, we made this little stand that kind of 2x4s sit on end in the grooves in the command tote tops. If you've ever looked at command totes, they're made to be stackable, and they have these grooves in the top, and they're the same width as a 2x4. So we made this little stand with 2x4s, and now the sink actually raises high enough to clear the pan, but we can also slide it out further over the empty container. So now this can be used inside on the kitchen table. If we want to take it outside, if we want to take it down, if we're having an event at there and we want to take it down to the nursery, we want to take it down by the outhouse. If you're having an event somewhere and you need a hand washing station, you're going camping, this is a great way to bring all your stuff with you. In the totes while you're transporting it. You can put your soap, your dish soap, your hand soap, your dishes, whatever, washing supplies, and then when you set it up, the stuff that you don't want to get wet can just still sit under that closed tote underneath the water jug, and then you have that open catch basin in case you want to catch and recycle your water or whatever, so it's not getting on the ground as a mess. Holds 5 gallons. It holds more than the tote can hold, or the jug can hold. So that was a good setup to get done. We worked on that a little bit. It was a quick project on Saturday morning, putting together the stand and then recording video about the setup. Also worked on getting the gutters going for our shed up at our property. Every time it rains, I told Corey, every time it rains, I get mad. Every time it rains, I get upset that I don't have the gutters on yet, that I'm not catching it, or at least being able to troubleshoot the idea. This is kind of an idea. I saw somebody do similar. I'm trying to make it work for my situation. And we'll see. The idea is sound. We'll see if it We'll see if it actually works the way it should. We'll see. We'll see. So I got started on that. It was Canadian Farmstead. Are you sure you don't want to team up, do a north of the border, south of the border comedy with Kyle? Because that's that it's like rain on your gutterless shed. Was that Alanis Morissette? So basically what I had to do is take some 2-inch pipe, cut it down, so I had 10-inch pipe or 10-foot pipe. I had a 10-inch pipe, and she knew what I was going to do with it. 10-foot pipe. I needed to make 3 10-foot pipes into 2 12.5-foot pipes, basically. So I glued them all together, and then my idea is cutting a strip out of the pipe. So I'm gonna have the pipe here. We'll do it like this. We have a pipe like this. I'm gonna cut a strip out of the side, and then the roof is like this, and the roof is gonna go in, and the rain's gonna come down the roof. This is backwards. This is really hard to do backwards into the screen. The pipe is going to sit over the roof edge, the corrugated roof edge here, and the water is going to go down the roof into the bottom of the pipe and then run down through the system. K-Bong says leaves could be a problem with that gutter. I'm going to hopefully put some screens on the top. And if not screens on the top, Pete says he sees a dam. Yeah, I've been thinking about it, guys. I've been thinking about it. We'll see. We'll see what's happening. I'm gonna have I'll have some mitigation, and this is a very small roof too. It'll be 5 by 12 on each side, so we're talking. Pickle P says video on the next rain. Yeah, it's not done yet. So basically, I had to figure out how to mark out the channel to cut out of the 12-foot long PVC pipe, but I wasn't going all the way to the end. I had to get that drawn out. Then I was cutting it with the only tool I really had that I thought would work. I didn't really want to use a circular saw on PVC, so I used an angle grinder is what I had. Not probably the best tool, but I didn't want to do it by hand with a little hacksaw blade or anything like that. So I used angle grinder. It got a little wonky on the edges. Good morning, John Palmer. Thanks for stopping in. And so when I did it, after I got it cut out of the first one, and before I glued together the second one and went further with the project to make sure this is going to work, I walked it up to the shed, went to put it on, and it was a little wonky in spots. K-Bong says jigsaw works great. I'm sure it would if I had one out in the woods with me. If I hadn't gotten rid of all my tools when we moved into the camper, I had an angle grinder on hand because I carried one in case my hitch lock or my pin on my receiver for my truck or a lot of other things that I've had to cut off with angle grinders in my life went sideways and we were stuck in the middle of nowhere. That's why I had an angle grinder with me. Didn't have jigsaw, and yeah, so I'm sure a jigsaw would work much nicer than the angle grinder, but the angle grinder cut the strip out. When I got it up there, it was just a little wonky in some places, like the spots that were nice and square, the way I K-Box says getting rid of tools, don't tell me. Off-grid ping says, well, if you need to, you can borrow my jigsaw. It worked fine. It worked fine. It was a mess. I really think I want to do the next one when I can go take a shower. It was definitely a mess, and I should probably bring a bandana to put over my face because I think I breathed in a bunch of fucking PVC dust, which wasn't ideal. But where the gap was actually as wide as I had wanted it, it fit on the roof. I think it'll work well. It'll work well going on and fixing it the way I want to fix it. But I found a better way to mark my gap I have to cut out. So when I was up trying to fit it on, I had to take the trim off the roof of the shed, and so I just brought that. Rewilder Life is a good use for a mask. Yeah, it would have been a good idea. I was all sinus and everything the whole night, and next day it was yum, fun stuff. But we when I brought down the trim covers the corrugation in the roof. So I was like, all right, well, I'll draw a straight line, and then I'll use this to draw my width. And the lines turned out a lot better on the second one. And by the time I went to use the angle grinder, the propane had run out on the generator, and it was just it's glued. It's glued and drawn and ready, and all I got to do is have the generator running because my angle grinder is also not cordless. K-Bong says a strip of tape works for easy marking of a gap. Yeah, I didn't want to do it, so I've been struggling back and forth with how wide of a gap I wanted to put in the pipe. So I have a 2-inch pipe. My corrugation, I believe, is 5/8 or just a little less, 1/2 inch maybe. So I want to keep that gap as small, as little wider than the corrugation as I can. So I didn't have any tape that was that wide. But now with using the trim, it worked really well. But I thought of a couple different ways of doing that. Yeah, the first one didn't work all that well. I was in a hurry, and it was I was hot and sweating my balls off when I was doing it. So it was kind of a rush job, but we'll get it up. Once I can test fit it and I get both of them to where they go up there, they're getting primed and painted because they're going to be out in the sun, and PVC doesn't like the sun. We're going to prime them, paint them, get them hung up, and then plumb them into a tote, and then mess around with like K-Bonk and Scramblin'. We're worried about leaves and things like that. I am going to put a drop down first flush out of each side. See how that works. We'll see. It's definitely an experiment. And having to do it because there's no good way to attach normal gutters to the shed. I mean, there is, but it would just be absolutely ridiculous, and the cost would be through the roof. Hanging Laundry bought the generic Walmart jigsaw for my kitchen sink replacement for a cheapo and rare usage. It was quite good. Yeah. Harbor Freight. I'm sure I could have gone and picked up a jigsaw. I just don't need one other than this project quite yet. And this was going to work. K-Bonk says, how are you going to match the shed color? I had Corey help me pick out spray paint color, and it doesn't match. It's a color that'll work. I don't do good with colors. You guys know that. I just have Corey pick it out. I'll have Corey pick it out. But anyway, got a little bit done on that. Just spent some nice time out in the woods. It's relaxing. Still kind of getting the dogs used to being out there and figuring it out. And every week every weekend we spend out there, it gets easier. Every weekend we get to spend out there. We're more motivated to get our cabin going. But it's all in due process. We have things we have to get done. I have responsibilities to keep up with, and then we'll move forward as we do. As far as the water, I was talking about getting water kind of trickling up there. We have plans to put in a dam during Delinquent Gully work days. The work days before SRF is one of the projects we're working on is a dam. K-Bunk's wondering if the dogs are free roaming out there. Our dogs are never free roaming. Our dogs are either contained in a fence or on a lead. They've never been on their own. They had an acre fenced in since they were puppies when we were on the farm. So we never really trained them other than to fence boundaries. And one of them is definitely a hunter. Every time we see an armadillo or anything out on the property, he wants to go and run forever. So they are not free roaming out there, and probably won't be. They'll end up having fences. But we'll be putting a dam in on workday. But in the meantime, I got to cut myself down, cut a path down there for Sean. Sean Mills is going to come over, and we're going to check out the whole situation, kind of get the project figured out beforehand. And when I cut myself a path down there, I'm going to see if I can start slow pumping some water. When Tim and I were down there scoping things out before, there was a pretty decent pocket of water. And I think, and there's a pump out there, and there's a way to pump, there's hose and everything. I just don't know if there's enough accumulated water to make it worth pumping it up the hill, and then shutting it off, letting it fill back in and pump it back up. But if we can start trickling, if I can dig out a little bit more, if the pocket's big enough, I'll probably start trickling 5 to 10 gallons at a time up and putting them in some storage. So we'll see. Oh, Rewilded Life says our youngest, as in dog, is learning to come when he sees something. Yesterday we scored a deer on our walk, and he listened finally. Nice. Oh, he scared a deer. I thought you scored a deer. Canadian Farm says the kids are hard to train. Kids are harder to train than our dogs, and then we have enough trouble. Well, I have enough trouble with our dogs. Corey is fantastic with them, but yeah. Anyway, that was a good weekend. It was a good weekend. We'll see how it goes. We'll be out there next weekend again, and then we're really excited. Labor Day weekend, Corey was able to score. We'll be out there for 5 days, which will be really nice. Get some extra work done and things like that. So it was a good weekend. Lots of work to do this week out there. I gotta finish working on some insulation projects. I gotta do a lot of weed eating. Weed eater string trimmer broke, and got a little behind when it was getting fixed. So I got to get back at that, get some trails done, get some other areas done that have suffered with the equipment being down. Had a couple other things I want to chat about real quick before we wrap up. One was that led to the title of the show today. It must be confusing being deaf. I almost titled the episode "I'm glad I'm not deaf," but I thought that was kind of an obvious statement. I just don't want to be deaf. I don't think anybody really would choose to be. I went with confusing to be deaf. The reason I've been thinking about this is Corey and I, we watch old TV shows in the evening to relax on Prime. One of the show we started watching now is The Biggest Loser. We're both kind of on a let's lose some fucking weight kick because we both don't feel real good about ourselves and our weight. So we used to watch The Biggest Loser when it first started. We thought we would catch up a little bit with it on Prime, see see how the show has changed from when we first watched it, when it was first on, and this and that. So we're kind of in the middle of the whole run of the show, and I don't know, it might still even be on. But anyway, we were kind of picking away at episodes. We get to the end of the first season we were watching, I think. Yeah, one of them. We get to the finale, and in the finale, it was a live finale. You know, I don't know if you've ever watched the show. They do this live finale where they do a final weigh-in and all this. Well, the closed captions were turned on automatically. Canadian Farmstead said he's never seen it. It went the way of all drama and all sorts of shit. I think just seeing the drastic weight loss that people have is a motivating thing. The show content itself is kind of iffy, in my opinion. But anyway, the closed captions were on for this 2-hour finale. We didn't turn it on in Prime. I think it was like the video that they recorded and are playing back on Prime actually had the closed captioning in it. And so I'm sitting there reading it. Dude, if you were deaf and you were trying to watch this finale, you would be the most confused person in the world. Half the words were wrong. Half the sentences made no sense. Just standardized. They're talking about pounds. They're talking about weight loss. Everything was British pounds. So it was listed out if they were like, oh, they lost 20 pounds. It was listed out like 20 English pounds. There was a contestant named Ramon. Every time it was on there, it was Ramona. Canadian Farm says that AI generated. I doubt it. This season was probably from like 2012, maybe early 2000s. But they kept calling this Ramon dude Ramona. Like I was reading it trying to think, like, if I couldn't hear what they were saying, if I didn't know what they were talking about, reading this, I would have been so confused what the show was about, what they were saying, what they were talking about, or what was going on, because it was absolutely ridiculous. So I'm glad I'm not deaf. I'm glad I got to watch the finale. Canadian Farm says old speech to text software, basically. Yeah, basically, and it was live, so people were like clapping in the background, and it was interesting. It was interesting. Rewilder Life says, yeah, closed captions sucks. My mother-in-law reads lists, but if you were newly deaf, yeah. Hunter says, did you hear about the AI-generated mushroom book? No. Do I want to? Oh, man. So that was interesting. But it was only on the finale. It's not on every episode. So it was interesting. It was interesting for me. And then the last thing, Hunter says a couple people in the hospital. Wait, they read an AI mushroom book that wasn't necessarily correct. Is that the issue? And they ate some mushrooms they shouldn't have, I'm guessing. Good idea. Oh no. No. Yeah, sounds like don't trust, but verify anything to do with shit you're gonna ingest. I would say. Oh, it was a copy and paste book from AI. Oh, goody. And the last thing here that I wanted to hit, Canadian Farmstead, is the old adage: all mushrooms are edible at least once. Yep, for sure. The last thing I had on my list here for topics this morning before we wrap up on Monday is a letter that I saw. It was posted on Hey, Mike's Homestead, morning. Made some mushroom logs on Saturday. Nice. What kind did you make up? Shiitake? The last thing I had on my list is a letter that got posted on Facebook. I'm sure it was on their website. It was passed around quite a bit. It was from the Hardin County School District. Hardin County School District. So we're here in Hardin County, Tennessee. Hardin County has a high school for the county. And someone forwarded a letter that they posted publicly. And I read the letter, and there were a few things I was like, wait a second. No, I'm very detached from the public school system at this point. But this one made me kind of angry. Rewilder life, she's been sick, something going around, and maybe it's monkeypox. So here's the letter. We're gonna pull it up here. I'll put it on the screen. I'll read it to you guys. This is posted by the Hardin County High School. Hardin County Athletic Department announcement. This is a public announcement for the light show at Jim Carroll Stadium. For all in attendance or close proximity to Jim Carroll Stadium during events at the stadium, new lights have been installed at Jim Carroll Stadium with the capability of producing a light show. The light show will take place between quarters and after Hardin County touchdowns during HCHS football games. Light shows have been linked to trigger epileptic seizures. If you have epilepsy, we ask that you close your eyes during the light show. I have to hit this comment before I go on with this, but Canadian Farmstead says, you know how far you have to social distance to not get monkeypox? 1 penis length. Oh, that's funny. So Hardin County, I got a couple questions here. Why do we need, so this is a high school football. And we're talking high school football in Tennessee. We're not talking fucking Texas, guys. Maybe it's as big here as there. I don't necessarily, maybe. Why do we need a light show? Why do we need a light show after touchdowns of a high school football game? Why do we need a light show at halftime of a the tax dollars of Hardin County or wherever they're getting their funding and buying lights for their stadium that make a light show? This is my first question. Pickle P says, because lasers rock. Yeah, guess how you paid for your lasers with your fucking money, not your neighbors. Mike's Homestead says they have fireworks there. So what a waste. So you're telling me every place is just a giant waste of fucking money. Second, beyond the waste of money of the fact, like, why do we need a football fucking stadium, first of all, for high school? K-Bong says money well spent. Canadian Farm says, what do you want them to use the money for? To boost literacy? Maybe. Second of all, with the seizures, just close your eyes. Are they going to announce before they turn the lasers on? Are they going to be like, all right, for all you epileptics in the crowd, please close your eyes because we're going to have a light show? Mike Holmes says most of that stuff is donated. Well, we got our priorities right. I think if somebody was like, hey, like obviously you just didn't show up with the light system. Like somebody that's donating a light system for a stadium didn't roll up and say, hey, I would like to give you this equipment. When said donator shows up and says, hey, I was thinking about the football team and they really need some more motivation at halftime and after touchdowns, we should really get a laser show for our high school football stadium. As a administrator that cares about the children and their education, they said, hey, how much are you going to spend on that? Would you buy us some computers for the fucking computer lab? Would you buy us some books for the library? Would you hire us a teacher that's not an idiot? Pip says, how much are the football game tickets? I don't know. I don't plan on going. Canadian Farmstead says, will all the epileptics come to the 50-yard line for the breakdancing competition? Oh, no. Mike Homestead says it's $8 to go to a fucking high school football game where he's at. Hunter says computer lab. Everybody has their own laptop now. Weird. Oh, it was a two-prong aneurysm that I had. One was from the fact that they installed this shit. Like, why? Like, give me one good reason that money needed to go to a laser light show lights for the football field. Pickle B says you only needed to spend $20 to go to an XFL game. Other than lasers are cool and this and that, like, dude, is this really what we need? Bread and circuses. Basically. Mike's Homestead says, nope, no publicity in that. Sponsors announced all the time here. Touchdowns, first down, sacks. Do you know we wouldn't need sponsors? We wouldn't need to raise all sorts of fucking money if we didn't have laser light shows in huge stadiums for fucking high school kids. Like it's this weird dynamic, and I see it on The Biggest Loser. These guys that were like high school athletes and now they're 400 and some pounds or trying to get healthy, this and that, and they talk about their glory days in high school. Guys, if your glory days of your fucking life are by the time you're 18, either you really had a really, really, really good high school or you're missing out. Is this the way to make these people think that this is it? This was awesome. I scored a touchdown in the state championship. Fucking Al Bundy. I had 3 touchdowns, and they played laser shows after each one. These were my glory years. This is the best it's ever going to be, because now they're going to put me in the fucking machine and grind me out, and I'm going to come out as shit at the end. Canadian Farm says anything to distract from what the kids are not learning and what they are learning. Canadian Farm says I'm still waiting on my glory days. Yeah, I don't know. K-Bong says programmed. Yeah, it's sad. I mean, good for the kids. Like, yay, we really need to enjoy high school. How about we just go and fucking learn shit? We've really laser focused in on the important shit. Pip says it right here, and this was even when I was there for sure. Didn't happen as much. It sounds like in the years since I've been out of high school, the 50 years, I don't know how long it's been, but a long time, 30 years since I've been out of high school. Pip says, hey kids, we need to cancel the last 2 periods of learning so the sports ball team can have a pep rally. Canadian Farmstead says, how dare you? Right here. They need to have a bit of fun before they sit in a cubicle for the next 45 years. It's interesting when you step back and look at things and see where they're focusing. It's interesting. I don't know. But the hey epileptics, just close your eyes was the frosting. The frosting on the cake was, hey, if you're prone to having seizures, anytime you hear that laser fire up, just squeeze them lids shut. You'll be all right. And the people, the best part was it wasn't just the people attending the game; it's all the surrounding neighborhoods because there's gonna be lasers in the sky. And man, your kid's out in the backyard, just minding his own business, trying not to have a seizure, and he looks up and he thinks it's fucking Batman being called, and all of a sudden he's flopping on the ground. Thanks, Hardin County High School. Must have been a touchdown. Hunter says he needs to refine his wife to find a questionnaire form for the school. Looks like some of the questions were, do you know how to grow food? Do you have chickens or livestock? Do you know how to butcher animals? And how fast is your Wi-Fi? None of your fucking business to any of that. Canadian Farm says they need to really be trained to sort, pack, and label Amazon orders. Oh, man. It is what it is, guys. The things you see. And I'm just curious. I'm curious how many people, not kids, like I see kids getting excited about this. Perfect. It's not getting them excited to learn. It's exciting to go to a fucking football game. But I'm curious how many adults, how many Al Bundys, how many folks that just, scrolling through and they see that post and like, fucking awesome, man. That football team's going to rock. We got laser shows now. Boy, you better make it to state this year. Back when I was there, we got 3 rings. I got state in my freshman, junior, and sophomore, my sophomore and my junior year. But my senior year, I didn't make the team. I was out drinking. Canadian Farmstead says, when you spend the critical thinking lesson money on new lighting, no one questions spending the money on lighting. Yeah. Rewilder Life says to find some John Taylor Gatto's work on the underground history of American education. Yeah. The Bitcoin standard really has triggered my curiosity into digging into things that you were kind of misled on. It's a fantastic book, guys. It's going way slower than I want because I'm finding myself every couple sentences stopping and going and contemplating things, processing facts that I didn't know. I was never taught. Like I got a pretty good memory for maybe not exact topics. Like I remember really well. But if I've heard something, I've heard something, I can recall that I've at least heard of it. I might not remember the exact details, but I remember a lot and can quickly be up to speed. There's a lot of stuff about, and this, I mean, it all makes sense. Why would they teach you about this shit that they're trying to hide from you? There's a lot of stuff in there that we weren't really educated on. Yeah. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it for sure. We'll talk about it as I get through it. But yeah, it sends me running to dive down the rabbit hole more often than it should for how far I'm into the book. I think I'm only like 60, 70 pages in, and it's scary. Yeah. That's all I got to say about that right now. Rewiler Life says I had to unlearn a lot, and I question all HIS story. Whose story? The winner's story, or the person's in charge story, telling the narrative to make you feel that what they're doing is the right thing. But we're gonna wrap it up. We're quarter after here. Pickle Pete, I already sent you your order stuff for this morning, so I hope you have a good morning there and you get on the road safe. Pip says Mark Twain says I was educated once. It took me a lifetime to get over it. Rewilder Life says the person with money for a printer. Yep. Pickle Pete says this is outlining how it will collapse currency and gov. Basically, it's just saying how other currencies have collapsed and why. What triggered them, what led up to them, what escalated them. And if you look at current American fiscal policy over the last 100 years, yes, we are on the fucking precipice. We are on the precipice for sure. So read the first couple chapters. Oh. Yeah, I guess I forgot to even say what I was drinking. I'm on GSD blend right now. GSD. Get you up, get shit done. Highly caffeinated, but no caffeine added. Light roast from the Lots Project and foodforestfarms.com. Head on over to foodforestfarms.com to check out all the great coffee roasts and blends you can find there, and use discount code LOTS10, LOTS10. Guys, I got to wrap it up. We'll catch you later. I hope you have an awesome day. And we'll roll back in tomorrow. I don't know what we'll talk about tomorrow. We'll see how today goes. I got some stuff kicking around in the background, and some topic lists that I can pull from. So I hope you have an awesome day. If you have any things you want me to talk about or any topics that you're thinking about, you can always drop them in the comments. You can always put them over in the Telegram group, or send me an email, info@thelotsproject.com. Check out thelotsproject.com and comfrey.roots.com for all your information you need to find about me, recommended products, and all sorts of shit like that. I hope you have an awesome Monday, guys. We're going to wrap it up here. Get some stuff done today. I hope you do too. Start your week off right, and we will catch up with you in the morning.